Simple and easy Chinese chicken salad with cucumber and scallions. I mean, this to me is the apex of summertime dining. Don't believe me? Well, give me a couple minutes, watch the video, and then you be the judge, because not only does it look beautiful, but it is so darn delicious. Stick around. I want to show you how to do this. Okay, so all of our prep of our scallions, our cucumber, our sauce, our garnish is all done, and I just pulled the chicken pot off. Let me show you what happened here. As you can see, I have a beautifully poached chicken, no broken skin at all, super firm around the meat. It is gonna rest in there for another 20-30 minutes. Then I'm gonna take it out. The broth is still hot, by the way. The broth will keep cooling. I'll strain that. You can see some of the aromatics that I put in there kind of floating around. But this broth is a golden elixir. I mean, look at that color. I'll use this now. This is, by the way, a triple stock or a triple broth by this point. I've poached so many chickens in these quarts of stock. I keep cooling them, straining them, freezing them. It's perfect now for a super rich wonton soup or anything. It's infused with ginger and Chinese aromatics. You could still use it for just about anything. I wouldn't use it for, a conventional thing, but you can use it for pea soup or black bean chili or anything that you need a really rich stock for. I mean, obviously I'm very biased and I cook a lot of Asian food, but I would do any Chinese, Vietnamese, Thai soup or anything that requires a really rich stock like this. It's just absolutely fantastic. And if you strain this the right way and leave the sediment in the bottom, you can literally pour consomme out of it. So again, it's the gift that keeps on giving. You just keep poaching chicken in the same stock. By the way, 2.5 quarts of stock in a small pot like this will always leave just the crown of the chicken showing, which is perfect because that's the part, I want to cook the dark meat first and foremost. That takes longer to cook and has to come to a higher temperature, which it does using this method. But it results in the most perfect butter tender, melt in your mouth chicken with no broken skin, because this skin on a nice all natural chicken, and by the way, I should stress, I started with a really nice all natural chicken, is now just, when that's sliced, cold or hot, is just gonna be so unctuous and so delicious. So we'll let this cool for a little while and then I'll transfer it into a bowl. Okay, time to transfer that chicken into that bowl. I just get a long chicken fork. I call it a chicken fork because this is the fork that I use to fish all of my chickens out of pots. Sometimes the dark quarters fall off. Sometimes the dark quarters stay on. Doesn't really matter. We have to separate them for the slicing anyway. But I love this. My friend Jill Rikers made this. She's on Eating Tools. Just a beautiful fork. I have a lot of her stuff. Oh, perfect. And all that you want to do is just slowly tilt. Get all the liquid out. Look at that chicken. Get these little bits of cilantro that I put in there as well. I happen to have some lying around. But look at how perfect that poached chicken is. 100% intact, which is just a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. If you had put this into simmering liquid and kept it simmering or slow boiling, or steamed it at a really, really high heat steamer, you would see the skin break. It would have contracted more. You can see it barely shrunk at all. This is just absolutely perfect, which I'm glad, because if I made this for you right now and showed you an imperfect one, you wouldn't accept my my suggestion that you try it this way. Can't wait. All right, so I separated my chicken cooled it and separated the pieces of the chicken. Really very simple process. And now I'm going to put a little bit of cucumber. You know, I usually serve this as a first course in a coursed meal, or I'll make preset portions of this on the table while I'm finishing a bunch of other food for the middle of the table for sort of hot entrees. If I'm making a lunch salad out of this, obviously I'll make it just a little bit bigger, but just run the cucumber down the middle there, if you will. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some scallion and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna lay it on top here because I want people to be able to eat pieces of the scallion. And once this is sort of balanced in there, you can just go ahead and lay those pieces on. It's never gonna be exactly perfect, but you can get it pretty nicely done. I'm reserving that pretty, I'm reserving this pretty scallion stuff for later. Oh, I should crunch up some of my toasted peanuts. I already have my golden, look at how beautiful those turned out, huh? Those beautiful golden sesame seeds. I've already got that set aside. I use a wooden mortar and pestle for nuts. I find that my stone or ceramic mortar and pestles with big, heavy pestles tend to just really smash the heck out of my nuts. There we go. Set that aside and we'll get a little spoon going for that. Here I have the breast. I can show you how to do it with the dark quarters as well. I just find where I pulled this out. There's gonna be a lot of leftover meat for some other kind of chicken salad, but I just let my knife fall to one side of that bone. The wishbone is what we bump into there, and I just finish the cut here and come all the way down till I find that breast bone. I just feather my knife. I'm doing this with a kitchen knife, a chef's knife of all things. But I have that beautiful breast that came off there. It's devoid. There's no bone in here at all, but I always like to double check. The other piece of chicken will have a piece of wishbone in there, unless I'm really, really good about cutting it. And you'll know, you have this beautiful, beautiful skin. So all I do is I want to make sure that I have that beautiful skin with each piece. And by the way, this chicken is a stunner of a chicken from the farmer's market. And you can see here it's cooked all the way through. That little redness there, that pink, is because it actually walked around and had a real life. This chicken is 100% juicy, moist, melt in your mouth, but it's also 100% food safe. And all I'm going to do is I'm just gonna place my chicken slices attractively across the top of that there. It's a very nice portion for, well, it's a healthy portion for a first course. With the dark quarter, it's a whole different ball game. I do the same thing that I do with regular raw chicken. I can see that line there that if I just put my knife through it will separate my leg from my dark quarter. Put my leg back in the bowl. Take out some of these bones that are here. Eventually we're going to get rid of all of them. And it's so easy once you've cooled this down to remove those bones, remove any piece of cartilage. This right here, that's the oyster, the most tender bone of them all. And I can see I've got one end of the bone there, right? And I've got the other end of the bone right there. I can see it. So all I want to do is run my knife down the end to end, and slowly with my fingers lift out this piece of cartilage and this bone. Now, remember, always feel the end to see if there's another piece of cartilage there. There usually is. Cartilage doesn't lift out very nicely. This bone is done here. Got a little bit of meat here. I don't like to waste anything, but there is that thigh bone. Very simple to lift out. Now I have all these little bits of dark meat that fell off there, but look at what I have when I turn this around. Looks a lot nicer, right? So what I want to do, and this is what I do with the dark meat, is I just put all those tender little pieces right on top, and then I'm going to put my sliced pieces of thigh and by all means use your knife to lift that up, and then put those on top there of your cucumber scallion mixture. You can lean that little piece in. Don't get into analysis paralysis, no need to. It's never gonna look the same as the white meat. I'm gonna wash my hands and I'm gonna show you how we finish these. All right, you can probably make about 6 or 8 portions like this out of each chicken. I put a tablespoon or 2 of dressing on top of that. It is strong. So you don't need a lot. And I do get into analysis paralysis about these little drops because I want to make sure that we're nice and neat with that. Then the next thing that I want to do is I want to take a spoon and get that nice mixture of both chunky, the dog keeps going after my cutting boards, of both chunky and dusty peanuts, and just put that over the top. Great textural crunch. Then I want to take some of these golden sesame seeds. The flavor as you bite down into those sesame seeds is great. So I put a generous pinch on top of that, and then that scallion on top. Now, if you want to make this an even bigger plate, but use the same amount of veg and protein, get some Chinese noodles or other kind of Asian noodle, cook them, rinse them under cold water, and put that underneath there, and you can make sort of a noodle bowl out of that as well. But that, my friends, is succulent poached chicken with scallion, cucumber, and that incredibly addictive sesame paste and Szechuan peppercorn dressing. Heaven. Summer food does not get any better than that. Let me tell you something. It is delicious. Now here's the deal. If you think Chinese chicken salads or chicken salads of any type tend to be dry with chicken meat, yeah, then someone's not cooking it right for you, because with my simple poached chicken hack, you are gonna come out with the silkiest, most delicious, moist chicken, regardless of whether it's white meat or dark meat, and with that sesame vinaigrette and those scallions and cucumbers. That is the apex of summertime dining. I insist you make this. Trust me, it's gonna be in your repertoire very soon.